The Purge is a decent potential idea waster. The Purge, Anarchy is a badass improvement. But which movie shall I bestow the award for being the best of the entire trilogy to? Well, I might have to give it to...
Welcome to the horror show! You realize there is nowhere to run! You know who came to fight! Paranoia is getting alive!
The Purge election year. This is an awesome high point in the series, and I can only hope the success train will keep on chugging along and get better and better with each movie. The plot! The Purge is in trouble. A woman is running for president while Frank Grillo from the previous installment is her security guard. She is also trying to end the Purge. But let's be honest, Frank Grillo is all you really need to be an awesome candidate. However, the founding fathers of the Purge have just greenlit a new rule. No one, not even high-ranking people, are immune to the onslaught that is the Purge. And of course, an assassination attempt is underway to get rid of our Lady Liberty. After several close calls, Frank Grillo and Lady Liberty are on the streets and unsafe. They may run, they may hide, they may fight, but if Frank Grillo is out of the picture, Lady Liberty is a goner. I have to touch on this firstly. The Purge had likable characters that were so much developed, but has wasted potential. The Purge Anarchy has likable characters that are not developed, but lives up to a lot given the plot. Now the Purge election year comes along, and we get likable characters that are very fleshed out, a badass story that has potential and lives up to it in spite of its premise. This could have easily been a copy and paste of Anarchy, but I am so glad they tried a new story. Another thing I thought was neat was that this basically is a combination of the Purge 1 and 2. You got the home invasion and the street survival. It is the best of both worlds. Tons of shit goes down in this movie. And the whole time I watched it unfold, I was never really reminded of Part 2 too much. Which is surprising because several scenes could have easily been copy and paste. The only thing I found similar to Part 2 is the climax. This movie's climax is not as good, but it is still badass and longer. So story and characters are great, but what about the action? This is definitely the most action-packed. It helps that this has a $10 million budget, which is $7 million more than the first, and $1 million more than the second. The thing I think this film has a minor disadvantage over Part 2 is that they don't really explore any crazy scenarios like Anarchy did. Sure, we got batshit crazy people acting and saying, but there was never really those ideas that stuck out. Like in Part 2, a couple are stranded after the car is sabotaged, and they have to try to make it home during Purge night. This movie is all about Miss Lady Liberty, whose name is Charlie, just to clarify. The characters are there for her. I cannot fault the movie for that though, because without her this would be just a copy and paste of Part 2. All I am saying is a few clever ideas to trap people outside during the Purge were sorely missed in this movie. However, the batshit crazy people acting and saying aspect is cranked up to 11. Dumb motivations and bitchy attitudes make for some characters that were unpleasant and annoying. But when all is said, I am glad that they were in the movie, mainly for what happens, which I will not spoil. The gore, this is definitely the goriest of the Purge movies yet. Lots of bloody shootings and decapitation and disturbing imagery and burned corpses and burning corpses with little old ladies sitting on the bench singing a song. It's really weird. This movie is definitely not for the faint of heart. This is not the best they could do, but it is definitely as good as Part 2, if not maybe a bit better. The story, characters, acting, and bloodshed are all awesome in their own right. While some creative ideas would be much appreciated, I still love this movie. Overall, I give The Purge election year a 4 out of 5. I'm Brian Gatto, host of Horror Show Movie Reviews. Make sure to like my Facebook page in the description below, leave comments, and subscribe.